Am I surprised that this happened? No. Was I expecting it to happen? Eventually, but not at this moment. I genuinely thought that Arthur Blank was going to use the injuries as an excuse for why the Falcons weren't winning games. Because it felt like the injuries have been the excuse for why the Falcons weren't winning games ever since Super Bowl 51. And ever since that, the Falcons are, you know what, I lost count, but last time I checked, it was like 25 and 29 or 25 and 30. But either way, it's not even above 500. And I also thought that Arthur Blank was going to look at what happened in that one outlier season about that Super Bowl appearance that was going to keep Dan Quinn around for at least 5 more years. And I really thought that Arthur Blank was soft. I didn't think he had the guts to make a move with the head coaching position. But tonight, he did. Not only did he fire Dan Quinn, but he also fired the general manager, Thomas Dimitroff. And it's just something that had to be done. With the Falcons not winning games, with the draft picks for the Falcons not panning out so far, just nothing has gone right for this organization since the fourth quarter of Super Bowl 51. Just nothing's gone right. If you just look at the draft picks the Falcons have had ever since their heartbreaking loss to New England in Super Bowl 51, Tat McKinley looks like a bust so far. I mean, the two offensive linemen they drafted in one season, Chris Lindstrom and Caleb McGarry. The offensive line hasn't really done much better with those two. Matt Ryan is still facing tons of pressure, not only from defenses, but from the media and from the Falcons fan base. And I will admit, I'm one of those included that have kind of given Matt Ryan a hard time. Not only like on here, but on social media as well. So something just needs to go right for this organization. Now, the good news for this is if the season were to end right now, the Falcons would have the second pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. And that is because the Giants have the number one pick right now, and that's because it goes off of the strength of schedule. And the Jets have the third pick right now. They also won a game yet this season. So right now it looks like the Falcons are in a 3-team race, maybe even a 4-team race for the number one overall pick, with Dak Prescott possibly being out for the rest of the season. So I wrote down 5 head coaching candidates that I think would be at least in the running to be the next head coach for the Atlanta Falcons. Now, these are the 5 that I've kind of seen going around, not only by Falcons fans in general, but just kind of some candidates that I think where it's about time they at least get their chance coaching an NFL team. But we will see what they do in the offseason. And I'm sure that they're setting up maybe their first phone call. It's almost going to be probably in the works already. But the number one candidate for the Atlanta Falcons head coaching job, I feel like this person is going to be number one for every team that chooses to part ways with their head coach. Because the Jets can still fire Adam Gase. The Giants, they may fire Joe Judge after just one season, especially if they can't win games. But Eric Bieniemy, the current Chiefs offensive coordinator, now just because the Chiefs lost today and just because they didn't have a performance that we're used to, the Chiefs offense in general is prolific mostly because of Eric Bieniemy. And Eric Bieniemy, he would excite any fan base with his coaching abilities, and he can expand the playbook for any quarterback. But the problem is, could he choose the Texans job over the Falcons job? Because I really can't see Bieniemy taking the Jets or the Giants. So I think it's a 50-50 shot with Eric Bieniemy between the Falcons or the Texans. Number 2, I have Brian Daboll, the Bills offensive coordinator. Now, the Bills, we usually don't talk about the Bills being good offensively, but this year it's been a really good season for the Bills on the offensive side of the football. Josh Allen is playing at an MVP type level. And I think Dable, he has some championship pedigree to him because he was on the Alabama coaching staff under Nick Saban. So he's got a championship pedigree. And I think he can bring that type of energy to Atlanta, a team that is so desperate to win a Lombardi trophy for the city of Atlanta. They need somebody with a winning pedigree. And these two, they are one of the two I really personally would want coaching the Falcons in 2021. I feel like if Bieniemy chooses the Texans, then hopefully Brian Dable is that second option. Because these are the best two that I think are the best fit for the job. Now these other three, I've seen them kind of floating around not only for the Falcons possibly, but for any team as well. But number 3, Lincoln Riley, the Oklahoma head coach. Now, the thing is with Lincoln Riley, yes, he is doing decent at Oklahoma, but it's about what have you done lately. And right now we have Oklahoma struggling. They're 2-2 on the season so far. And Lincoln Riley's MO is to get off to a big lead and then just don't push the accelerator anymore. And with a head coach like Lincoln Riley, it's going to be more the same. It's going to be more second half blown leads and just constant frustration with the inability to finish games. Because if you look at every single game that Oklahoma has lost under Lincoln Riley, the majority of them, the Sooners have a big lead in the second half. And they just don't keep pushing the accelerator. They just stop with it. And they just play conservative, which is exactly what would happen week in and week out with Lincoln Riley. So for me, Lincoln Riley is out. Number 4, Kellen Moore, the current Cowboys offensive coordinator. Now, Kellen Moore, I think he'd be a talented NFL coach. I think he would do decent for any other team, but I just don't think the Falcons. Well, maybe he could. I mean, Dak Prescott was doing well for the Cowboys last season and this season, but unfortunately, I think that Dak Prescott is out for the season, and I'm not sure what is in store for the Cowboys offense with Andy Dalton under center. So I would avoid Kellen Moore unless they were desperate for somebody with an offensive mind. And the 5th coach, now this is a defensive coach, but Robert Saleh, the 49ers defensive coordinator. And if the Falcons were to hire Robert Saleh, I think it's just another Dan Quinn. I think it's just Dan Quinn 2.0. Somebody that is good on the defensive side of the ball, but really not good as a head coach in general. I feel like that this would be a disaster hire for the Falcons. I think the Falcons, they need to get somebody with an offensive mind because the National Football League is turning into a game of offense because we have offenses like the Chiefs and the Ravens. Even the Browns. The Browns are doing solid on offense so far this season. In the Rams, the Bills, even the Cardinals. See, with the NFL becoming an offensive game now, it's only right that the head coach is somebody that has an offensive mind. Now, as far as Dan Quinn's future, Dan Quinn, I think, could be a good defensive coordinator somewhere else, as he was the defensive coordinator for the Seahawks with the Super Bowl 48 win and the Super Bowl 49 appearance. So I think Dan Quinn, he'll be a good defensive coordinator somewhere. But I just don't think Dan Quinn was meant to be a head coach, as I feel like in the outlier season, they were definitely carried that year by offensive coordinator Kyle Shanahan. So that's just my thoughts. Tell me your thoughts down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you next time.